In this video we are taking a look at these, the Asics Glideride number 3. What is up everybody, and welcome back to Glideride HQ. Yeah, we love a pair of Gliderides on the channel. If you're new, and if you are new, make sure you subscribe before you leave me today. Basically, I've had a love affair with the Asics Glideride for the last however many years they've been out. It was my go-to running shoe of, well, for a couple of years. On this channel we promoted it hard because basically it just ate miles for fun and made marathon training really easy. They then came out with version 2, which was, I don't know, a little bit disappointing. It's probably a fair word. We'll come on to a little bit more detail about that in a minute. And then we've got the new version, version 3, which has just dropped. Now this is a first impressions video. We are just short of 30 miles. 10 miles done today, which is why we're sitting here not with the studio and all that, because I've literally just got back from a 10-mile run, and I wanted to let you know my thoughts because we've had it for a little while now. But yeah, let you know my first initial thoughts on the Glideride 3 to hopefully give you a little bit of advice if you're thinking about pulling a trigger on them. Okay, so Glideride 1 was awesome. And what was awesome about it was it's the guide sole technology. So it's that technology which kind of reduces ankle movement and ankle, well, they say energy in terms of the ankle moving about. But basically it just creates a stable platform with the rocker that makes you roll through. So it's just a really nice smooth transition. And on this shoe we had some gel in the heel, which was nice. It's an Asics after all. And we had a little plate up the front, little plastic plate, which with the high toe rocker just really meant for a smooth transition. And as I say, it just ate up long miles. The outsole was great, bulletproof. This is I think this is my third pair of the original ones, and it was just so comfortable to be in on those longer runs. It was an Asics, it's an Asics after all, so it's had plenty of foam in the heel to make it really comfortable. But yeah, it just was able to do everything and just provided a really stable platform for those longer runs. And then we've got version 2, which they kind of lost their way a little bit because it was too firm and also heavy. It was over 11 ounces, and it just, I don't know, they just went the wrong direction with the shoe. Now it wasn't a bad shoe. I again enjoyed using it through marathon training. Again, stable ride for long runs. But there was a few bits and bobs. They maintained the plate. This carve out was really annoying, by the way. I asked Toby, because all it does is get stones caught in there. But it just lacked that, the softness and it might sound silly, but the responsiveness of the first version, that little bit of cushion in that first shoe really meant a great deal over those longer miles, and the second pair really sort of lost its way in terms of the cushioning. It was still a good shoe for long distance running, marathon training, because it was stable and it was wide and it was protecting you and it was looking after you, but it was a little bit firm for many. And now we've got version 3, which, good news people, they've softened up. Right, then we get version 3, which is good news because they've softened it up. These were £155, by the way. I paid for these out of my own money, people. So where do we start? Okay, 5mm drop. We've got the same outsole as the other version. See that? You've still got the plate, plastic plate at the toe. So it's a stiffer plate to help with that toe off and that movement through heel to toe. It just adds that little bit to the rocker. You've got a nice foamy heel area, same as all 3 shoes. The lacing is exactly the same. The new jacquard mesh upper on the shoe, which today on that 10 miler was a little bit warm, so just a bit of a heads up, but the other shoes weren't exactly airy. I think this is the word I was using, well, but it's fine, people. It is what it is. 5mm drop. I think I've read somewhere, I might be wrong, 40mm stack on these. So we'll have to do a little bit more hunting around to make sure that's actually correct. Weight, now this is another key. It's dropped an ounce versus this. This is 10 point, oh actually I wrote it down, 10.2 ounces UK 9.5, so 280 something grams for UK 9.5. Fits true to size, lovely, fits true to size, no problems there in terms of sizing. I think that's it in terms of the detailing. Upper midsole, right, midsole next. Good point, Fordy. Remember the midsole because that's one of the big significant changes. Now this shoe has 2 layers to it. See that? I'm looking on the mirrorless camera. We've got Flight Foam Blast at the top. Come on to that in a sec. And then we've got Flight Foam Propel at the bottom, which is carved up for that big springy toe off section. Now the Flight Foam Blast Plus is what's in the new Nimbus and a few of the other shoes, and it's a really soft, springy compound, and they've added it to the top to create that really nice feeling on that transition and on that roll through the shoe. It's just giving you that little bit more forgiveness in the shoe versus version 2. It really is comfortable. I can't emphasize it enough, but stable at the same time because of the way with the guide sole technology that they've incorporated into the shoe over the years. It's actually a bit of a game changer, I think, on the Glideride, putting the Flight Foam Blast in here, Flight Foam Blast Plus in here, because it really has brought the shoe back to its origins. So this shoe really is a perfect marathon, half marathon training shoe, or maybe you're looking for a 10k. Basically, if you're starting to put longer miles into your runs, you're not just plodding around grabbing 3k here, 4 miles here, whatever you're doing, this shoe will take you through your training block, through that training plan, whatever you're doing, or maybe you just like to go long anyway. This is the perfect shoe for that. It's not particularly fast, although you ask Toby, he licks about in his Glideride 1s and 2s. He puts some proper speed through those, but it is not an out-and-out speed shoe by any shape or form. This is built for stability and comfort over those longer miles. It is not a stability shoe, just put that out there. But with the guide sole technology, it does reduce the ankle movement and it does provide a really stable environment in which you can run. So if you do have some mild pronation issues like myself, this will help. I'm not saying it's a stability shoe in any shape or form, people, but for someone who does require a little bit of stability, particularly when I'm running easy, I found the Glideride really suits me on those longer runs. The Glideride also comes out, sounds a bit funny, when I'm a bit beaten up and a bit sort of spat out from marathon training, if my calves are hurting or my ankles are hurting or, I don't know, some of the muscles under my feet are hurting, I stick a pair of Gliderides on. It is that sort of go-to shoe that I know will look after me on whatever I do, whether it just be 3 miles or 30k. And that's the thing with the Glideride. It's like having a friend in your running rotation that you know you can rely on, that will do what you need it to do, will carry you through the longer miles, and yeah, it's just there when you need it. Now, we haven't gone particularly long in the shoe. We will be going long. We've got 18 miles in the plan coming up, so the Glideride will get a long run test. 10 miles is the longest I've done in the shoe, which is today, which is kind of why I've held the review back, because we've had the shoe a bit, but we've held the review back because I wanted to do a long run in it, and my mileage at the moment has been relatively low to where it's going to go to, so we're doing about 40 miles a week at the moment, but the long runs aren't where they will be yet. So that's why I kind of held off reviewing the shoe, because I wanted to put at least 10 miles on a long run through the shoe, because that's what it's built for. But on the shorter stuff, it's been absolutely fine. 6 miles, I was licking along at goal pace, absolutely fine. We've done some other bits and bobs in it, and it's been fine. What is just so noticeable about it is the change back to the softness of the original. Now, don't get me wrong, people, this is not an overly soft shoe. This is not like a, I don't know, I'm not running them, but I'm guessing something like a Cloud Monster or a Fresh Foam More. It's not that kind of softness in terms of feel, because you've got the lower part of the shoe, which is that firmer compound. It's just a little bit of softness that just works out sort of roughness of what's underneath it. So it's a real nice blend in the foams, in what they've created for those miles. especially those longer miles that you may put through the shoe. So far so good. It's really good to have the shoe sort of back to where it needs to be. I'm really excited to come to you with the long run test that we're going to do, and that will be out on the channel shortly. But the first impressions of the shoe is that it's back to where it needs to be. If you're really into your marathon training, you're looking for a long run shoe, this is where to go. It's the same with your half marathon training. If you're building up to a half marathon, you want a trusty, reliable shoe that's going to cane those miles, this is where to go. I've worn the Glideride in a marathon, absolutely no problem with it whatsoever. It was a perfect companion. I wasn't chasing a time, and you know what, if I wasn't chasing a time, so you know what, I could see myself wearing these, for example, in London. It sounds nuts, but I'm not chasing a time in London. If anything, I want to go, you know, deliberately easy. I could quite easily rock out the Glideride 3, and that's the sort of biggest compliment I can give the shoe. But we will put more miles in it, we'll get it, I say, we'll do the long run test, and then we'll come back with a performance review, which the shoe will then be well over 50 miles, and I'll let you know how I'm getting on. The other quick thing I would say about the Glideride, now Toby's Glideride 2, check out the video we done. I think we did it was a 100-mile video review in terms of the outsole. Now these have got over 100 miles on them, and they look like almost brand new on the outsole. The outsole on these shoes is built incredibly well. But that's it, people. Glideride 3 is back. Glideride 3 is back in the game. Loving the Glideride as always, and I'm just quite pleased about it, really.